welcome to Abundant Life Homestead. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm feeling pretty decent. I got a couple of things to tie up from earlier this week. I think it was on Tuesday. I had to take Caleb in for FABA testing, and I just could not come up with what the FABA acronym meant. My kids have been going to that school for 10 years. I know I've known it several times, but my ability to retain that seemed to have slipped this week. FABA, F-A-B-A, is Fine Arts and Bible Academics. It's an art and academic competition between the Christian schools. Don't have the results from his testing yet this week, so we'll definitely keep you all informed of how he does there. And then yesterday my youngest was in the emergency room. They were testing him for strep, and he had a rash all over his body. This strep test came back negative, but they still put him on a steroid for a few days. They're not real sure what he had going on. I kind of think just what's been hitting everybody is hitting him just a little different than it did anyone else in the house. All the kids, the schools are really getting hit hard. We're hearing every local school having hundreds of kids out. One of them, it's about 10 or 15 miles from us. No, it's longer. It's further than that. It's about 25 miles from us. They said they have over 400 kids out in their school system. So it's been rough, whatever this little disease going around is. But otherwise, we've considering the way it's been, we've come out pretty well through it all. And this morning I'm going to go ahead and start on this morning's Bible verse. This is Thursday, February the 6th, and on Thursdays we usually read a wisdom passage. And most of the time it's a psalm or a proverb, but sometimes they pull a wisdom passage from other areas of the Bible. And today's passage is Psalm 138. It's not a very long psalm, so we get the entire psalm this morning. And I'm going to read it out of the Amplified. And that's kicking on the cooler. I'm going to shut this off real quick. Psalm 138 in the Amplified translation. They title it Thanksgiving for the Lord's Favor, a Psalm of David. I will give you thanks with all my heart. I sing praises to you before the pagan gods. I will bow down in worship toward your holy temple and give thanks to your name for your loving kindness and your truth, for you have magnified your word together with your name. On the day I called, you answered me, and you made me bold and confident with renewed strength in my life. All the kings of the land will give thanks and praise you, O Lord, when they have heard of the promises of your mouth, which were fulfilled. Yes, they will sing of the ways of the Lord, joyfully celebrating his wonderful acts. For great is the glory and majesty of the Lord, though the Lord is exalted. Though the Lord is exalted, he regards the lowly and invites them into his fellowship. But the proud and haughty he knows from a distance. Though I walk in the midst of trouble, you will revive me. You will stretch out your hand against the wrath of my enemies, and your right hand will save me. The Lord will accomplish that which concerns me. Your unwavering loving kindness, O Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your own hands. Okay, so what stands out to you in this passage? What really hits you, or what do you see that just really connects to your life and your path and where you are right now? I'll tell you, the first thing that stands out to me, just because we've been talking about it all week, is in verse 6 where it says he regards the lowly, but the proud and haughty he knows from a distance. But that's close to the end of that psalm, so let's go back up to the top and see what we have. Okay, so David I will give thanks to you with all my heart. I will sing praises to you before the pagan gods. I will bow down and worship toward your holy temple. This really really kind of hits on something we talked about a little earlier this week about giving everything to God. A big part of, I think, what David's saying here is I give you everything, God, all my heart. I'm holding nothing back. I don't think David would necessarily intentionally stand before pagan gods and just to praise God and mock the pagan gods but I think what this is kind of saying is David is saying that I will sing your praises even when I'm among those who don't want anything to do with you, even though I know some of my own people are acting out against you or are worshiping other idols. I will still sing praises to you with all my heart, and I will make sure they know that I'm still singing praises to you with all my heart. So, and bow down and worship toward your holy temple. And sometimes that is quite literal in many senses. I know many times in that culture they would actually face, no matter where they were during prayer time, they would face the temple. But as a king, he wouldn't always have that time, so to do that. So it's kind of for us today is we worship the direction God has given us. Our soul turns toward the temple, but it's the direction God has given us. We stay focused on that direction, and we thank him and praise him for that direction. Give thanks to your name for your loving kindness, for your truth, for you have magnified your word together with your name. I think other translations will say that God magnifies his word above his name. Let's see, where are we at? New International Version. For you have so exalted your solemn decree that it surpasses your fame. I kind of like that. God puts his word above all else. He said, when he says he's going to do, he does what he says, and he puts that above his own reputation, above his fame. And if he puts his own word there, then we can always trust his own word. Let me go back to Amplified here. That's what I'm used to reading. Okay. On the day I called, you answered me. You made me bold and confident with renewed strength in my life. Yeah, it kind of circles back from what he's saying in the beginning with he's giving you everything. I'll give you everything. I even sing your praises before the pagan gods. You made me bold and confident with renewed strength in my life. I didn't have that boldness. I didn't have that confidence. You gave me that confidence. Your grace works through me and gives me that. He acknowledges, even though David, a mighty king, is singing the praises of God, he knows that not all are, but all will. All the kings of the lands will give thanks and praise you, O Lord, when they have heard of the promises of your mouth, which were fulfilled. Yes, they will sing the ways of the Lord, joyfully celebrating his wonderful acts. For great is the glory and majesty of the Lord. Though the Lord is exalted, he regards the lowly and invites them into his fellowship, but the proud and haughty he knows from a distance. So yeah, this is the subject that has come up all week, whether it was Peter or Paul or Isaiah or even David here. At this time David's already a mighty king. He's no longer the lowly, but he still recognizes who he was and who he still is. When we talk about the God showing favor to the lowest of the low, and to the lowly fishermen, and it's not that God sees us like that. It's that we as humans see ourselves and each other like that. And I think what really comes out of all of this, in all of these stories, if we look at it from the perspective of today, it's not that God favors the lowest of the earth. It's that God favors those who are honest with themselves and with Him about who they are. We go back to Monday with Peter. Jesus had already been to Peter's house. Jesus had healed the sick at Peter's house. Crowds came to Peter's house, So on that morning that Jesus came to Peter and asked him to use the boat, Peter could have stood in front of that audience and said, "Hey, look at me, that this man came to my house. He healed all these people. My house is now holy, and he is coming back to me. Look how great I am." No, he fell flat on his face and said, "God, I am not worthy of this." He was honest with himself. He wasn't fake. He was authentic, and we see that a lot today. You find a lot of conversations about the people who are fake and people who are real and authentic, and it's really something that God looks for in us. Are we humble enough to admit what we truly are, who we truly are? Paul was the same way. He could have started out his letters and talked speaking to the church, saying, "I am the greatest of the apostles. Jesus came to me and he told me all these things, and I'm telling you how it is." No, he says, "I'm the least, I'm the worst, I am the most undeserving of this because I persecuted God." He was honest with himself about it. So God really, really looks to those of us who are really, truly honest about who we are and where we are. And David today, David did start out as what was seen as such a lowly position. He was a shepherd boy. That's when they see you as not being able to do anything else, they would make you be a shepherd. And he started out life that way, as being the lowly shepherd. And he knows that's where he came from. And even through all of this time and all of the battles, all of the trials, yeah, he wasn't always perfect. He had his ups and downs with God, but he always goes back to knowing that I was just a shepherd boy. God made me king. God's mercy made me king. He stays honest with himself and honest with God about who he is and where he came from. And I think that's something that's really, really trying to hit us through all of this week. "And though I walk in the midst of trouble, you will revive me. You will stretch out your hand against the wrath of my enemies, and your right hand will save me. The Lord will accomplish what concerns me. Your unwavering loving kindness, O Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your own hands." And that's really humbly placing the trust in God. God says he's going to do it, that he's already given his word. And we're not always facing the wrath of our enemies, but there is always trouble there. We're always standing against the tide, and God will always be there. Yeah, I had to make sure that was my right hand stretched out, holding it back from us. And the Lord will accomplish that which concerns me. That He's already made his promise. You've answered his call. He's going to see it through. There's the one verse. I don't have the reference for it because I don't prepare for this. I just sit down and start reading. Be confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you shall perform of it until the day of Jesus Christ. And here David sees that. David knows that. The Lord will complete what he started in me, not just protect me, but he will continue to mold me into what he wants me to be. He will continue to lead me where he said he would lead me, and that endures forever, and he will not abandon the work of his own hands. So yeah, I think what the a lot of things we can pull out of this, even though it's really, from David's perspective at that time, it was meant to be a praise and thanksgiving to God. He drops a lot of extras in here that we can look at and say, hey, that's happening to me. Hey, that's where I'm at. Hey, that's how I need to praise. So, with that, where are we at on time? 8:46. Okay. Anything else going on today? Actually, I want to show you a little something a little different. If you struggle when you're studying the Bible, and that's something I go through sometimes. I'm looking here what I've got up. One thing that can help is AI, and I know we get a little scared of AI sometimes and what it might possibly do, and there's all kinds of conversations about AI around, and here's something I've done in the past, and I want to show. I actually did the one day this week in 1 Corinthians when I wasn't feeling good in the morning, and I really struggled to pull things together with the verse. After I came back and sat down that day, I came to Google Gemini, and we'll do it on today. Describe how Psalm 138 So, yeah, if you're struggling to study and you don't really know where to turn with a study, it doesn't hurt to open up this bot and ask it, because most of these language models include every word of the Bible. I know we can often see them as they're. I don't want to get into the good or bad AI conversation, but it can do a lot of good. Just don't necessarily take it all as 100% truth, because it is a computer machine, and it can make mistakes. But if you're having trouble finding direction, it can be a very useful tool. So I typed in, describe how Psalm 138 applies to our daily lives, and here's the answer. Psalm 138 is a song of thanksgiving and praise to God. It celebrates God's faithfulness, love, and power. Here are some ways it can apply to our daily lives. Exactly what we asked it for. 1. Expressing gratitude. Verse 1, I will praise you with all my heart. Before the gods, I will sing your praise. Start your day by acknowledging God's presence and expressing gratitude for his blessings. Make it a habit to thank him for the big and small things in your life. Remembering God's faithfulness. Verse 2, I will bow down toward your holy temple. I will praise your name for your love and your faithfulness, for you have exalted above all things your name and your word. Application to your life. Reflect on God's past faithfulness in your life. Recall times when he answered your prayers or provided for your needs. This can strengthen your trust in him, especially during challenging times. 3. Finding strength in God. Verse 3, when I called, you answered me. You made me bold and stout-hearted. When you face difficulties or feel overwhelmed, remember you can call on God for help. Trust that he will answer you and will give you the strength you need to overcome any situation. Recognizing God's majesty, verses 4 and 5. May all the kings of the earth praise you, O Lord, when they hear the words of your mouth. May they sing of the ways of the Lord, for the glory of the Lord is great. Take time to acknowledge God's greatness and majesty. Reflect on his power and glory, and let it inspire awe and reverence in your heart. Trusting in God's care, verses 6 through 8. Though the Lord is on high, he looks upon the lowly, but the proud he knows from afar. Though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve my life. You stretch out your hand against the wrath of mine enemies, and your right hand delivers me. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Your love, O Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your hands. Application: remember that God sees you and cares for you even when you feel insignificant or lost. Trust that he will protect you in times of trouble and that he will complete the good work he has begun in you. This computer model is better than I am at this, ain't it? In your daily life, you can start a gratitude journal. Write down things you're thankful for each day. Pray regularly. Talk to God about your joys, concerns, and needs. Spend time in worship. Sing praises to God or listen to worship music. Reflect on Bible verses. Meditate on God's word and apply it to your life. That's the point of what we do every day here. Serve others. Show God's love to those around you through acts of kindness and compassion. By incorporating these practices into your daily life, you can experience the power and blessings of Psalm 138 and live a life of gratitude, faith, and trust in God. And then you can go through all the sources it used to compile to come up with this study guide, this commentary that the AI gives to you. And that I suddenly feel obsolete at reading that out to you, but it's always a good thing, always a helpful thing. So don't take 100% of everything that it puts out as truth, but if you read that verse and the AI is giving you the verse correctly and it brings out something that you might not have seen, it's absolutely a useful tool that you can strengthen your relationship with God through a computer language learning model. So it's really an interesting thing to do, and I'd encourage you to do it any time we're going through a verse, or I may even try it later this week when we make the weekly connection. When we do the weekly connection, I may try to enter all 4 of the verses of the week and say, how do these connect together? Of course, I'll try to do it after I've already done the figuring out myself and what I want to say, but that may come up with something I missed, or may help me put words together. And I should probably do it before I broadcast every day, but I really don't take the time for that. I get up, I get about 1 cup of coffee in me while I'm setting everything up, and then then I'm on. That's about all the time I give myself in the morning before we start this. But I do kind of like it that way. I kind of I'm hitting it. I'm reading it fresh. It's hitting me fresh, and it's just what's it do right then and there. Not, you don't always have to get into the deep and scholarly conversations about the Bible. Sometimes it's just, what's this saying right now? How's this hitting me right now? Because the Bible tells us, that Jesus tells us, that the word is a lamp unto your feet and a light into your path. It's meant to be easy to understand, and it's meant to be right where you are. Come to you where you are. We reiterate that a lot, that God comes to you where you are. He lights your path. He veers you to the path he wants you on, but your path right now that you're on, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing or how strong, weak, or lowly or proud you are. You get into the Word. God's Word will show you something from your path right now and make it easier to see. So we don't always have to get in those incredibly deep conversations, and that's kind of what I like. Hang on, I'm looking up the it's okay. So it wasn't Jesus. It says Psalm 119, 105. The Word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So yeah. But the Word is always meant to be easy to understand. You get a different understanding if you go to college and to become a Bible scholar and those kind of studies. But anybody anywhere can get some easy understanding just from sitting down and reading the Word, and that's the way God intends it to be. So I do like not being prepared, and I don't know how well that goes over with anyone else that watches, but that's just kind of my style. That's the way I do it. But otherwise, going on today, we don't have a whole lot. Say we had our therapy appointments yesterday. I had Grandma she was feeling pretty good when she got out of hers, and I was too. I woke up with some terrible cramps in my foot overnight, but they went away. They're okay now. Don't really have anything going on today. Our boys' school wasn't delayed, but a lot of schools in the areas were, because we've got a sheet of ice on everything right now. I wouldn't call it an ice storm. We didn't have the power's still on, and it's not an unbearably thick or unmanageable ice. Melinda already sent me her morning message. She left early, and she made it to work and said the roads were wet despite everything that's not roads having a sheet of ice on it. But so the weather's a little crummy today, but I've got plenty to do in the house, and otherwise no other plans. We're not really going anywhere. So I'm gonna go wake Grandma up, get her day started, and see where it goes from there. Hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. I thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see if I compile the week tomorrow. I don't know. I think I was going to just do 4 days a week of this, but I might change my mind. We'll see. In my free time today, what little I get once everything starts hopping, we'll see if I decide to do a 5-day in a row or not. But until next time, just keep on nourishing your dreams, cultivating your passions, embracing the beauty of God's creation. Yes, have a wonderful and blessed day, and we'll